Kilted balls. Woo! I took a breath right before I did it because I was like, oh, I was going to lead into it. And I'm like, whew, worked out perfect. Yeah.
Probably one of our best.
Mm-hmm. Cream ale from Looking Glass Brewery. Pretty yummy.
Nice. I have water tonight.
Water's always good. Cream ale might be better. It's hard to say.
I would have had some leftover tea from earlier, but I was like, because I had a busy afternoon, so I didn't have a chance to drink my tea. I was drinking a lot of water, like from the drinking fountain. And so I set it inside my saddlebags, and I piled stuff around it, but it wasn't all the way full. But I was like, this will be okay. So then I get home, and my iPad's wet, and my notepad is wet, and my phone is wet. And the tea tipped over and like spilled all over.
That is not good. That's not good.
Yeah.
You know what is good? Welcome back to another episode of the Kilted Balls podcast.
I knew we were forgetting something. Yes, welcome.
Thank you so much, people, for joining us. And let me tell you a story about Kilted that I don't think we've shared on the podcast. But he just brought it up, and he doesn't know he brought it up. So I'm going to share this story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So this week, as Kilted Wells knows, I was walking through a room, and I saw a Frisbee, an ultimate Frisbee, from the Mars 2006 tournament that was left there. It looked like by a teacher that retired long ago. And I was cracking up because you and I played in the Mars tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And our buddy Dave was in that room and was like, oh, did you like play in that? I'm like, we played in Mars like before 2000, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
I'm like, we were way before this Frisbee in 2006. I'm like, I don't know where they would have gotten that. And they're like, well, maybe like a student played. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And I'm like, oh, I remember that tournament. And I was like, oh, shoot. I'm confusing it with another tournament we went to called Gender Bender.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remember Gender Bender because it had the best cream ale served by those bartenders who like were all dressed fancy and had like the wax mustaches. You remember that?
That was the where Chris Velasquez went to school. That was that team. Shoot. It's not coming to me now.
Yeah, but you remember that, right?
Yeah.
That was great. But anyway,
no, you're confusing those. So where Peter Wheel or where Ballbuster is getting confused. I was telling stories about you today to Morgie.
Nice.
So where Ball's getting confused is Gender Blender was always like a huge party, and you basically drank the whole time. Mars is an amazing tournament, but there were a few years where that team that you're talking about, where they carried around, it was almost a full bar. I mean, not
this
a full bar, obviously.
This wasn't a team. This was the after party of the tournament. They hired a group of people to serve, and they brought in kegs of, they were old guys with big wax mustaches, and they were selling Irish cream ales, or not selling. I mean, they were as part of the tournament.
Oh, I don't remember that because I was thinking you were talking about the Mars, because there was a guy, because they remember from field to field they had like that big thing that they'd carry, and they'd make mixed drinks for everybody and stuff.
Yes,
that's what I was thinking of.
No, this was
I don't remember the cream ale. I didn't drink beer back then.
No, and it was like the best. I didn't really drink beer, but I had some because it was hot and it was great. But the point is, I was confusing the two tournaments when I was talking to our buddy Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him this story, and I said it was at Mars, but now I'm thinking it was at Gender. We went to this tournament, and this may be hard to believe, but back in our college years, Kilted and I were incredibly fit. And we could pretty much run all day long, and it was not an issue for us to just run all day long. And I remember once, like, I visited like some in-laws, and they were like, I'm going for a run. I wish you could go with me. I'm like, I'll go with you. They're like, I'm going for like a 20-mile run. I'm like, cool. They're like, you can't go run 20 miles. I'm like, I can run all day. Like, it literally makes no difference to me. So, like, back then, if we had run a marathon, like you and I don't think would have thought it was a challenge. Right?
Yeah. We wouldn't have known any better.
We wouldn't have known any better. I remember our good friend Heather Hines once was like, I need to go for a 13-mile run. I'm like, let's go. And she's like, you think you can run 13 miles? I'm like, yeah. Like,
yeah. Well, that was like running with Jessica too.
Yes.
Like she trained for a marathon, so.
Yeah, it was just not a thing. Anyway, the point being we were pretty in shape. And when we went to this tournament, and I think it was Mars, we did not have a lot of people there. If I remember right, it was like 10. And so,
yeah, I think we had a year like that for
and
sure.
There was, for those of you who don't know how Ultimate works, you have to have 7 people on the field. So if you always have 7 on the field and you only have 3 people to sub in, that means some of you are playing pretty much the whole game. Like, it's hard to do a rotation where you're not. And so most of the time, Kilted and I would be in for long stretches of time. And then we would have to run off because eventually we would get tired and they'd replace us for a couple points. Then we would come back on, or we would drink a whole bunch of pickle juice and we'd come back on.
Because like your example, jogging for 13 or 20 miles is different than sprinting, jogging, walking a little bit, sprinting. So yeah, it's a lot.
We were doing a lot of sprinting, especially yours and my positions. We did a lot of sprint, jog. And so we would get tired and we'd have to take breaks. So anyway, we're at this tournament and I don't remember. It was like a little over 100 degrees. We're playing most of the points. Everybody is dying, including us. We're drinking pickle juice like it's going out of style. And
that was before pickle juice was a thing.
Yes, it was before we started that. Kilted was on break. I was running because we were kind of the same position. And we had to switch spots. So, like, I was leaving the field. A whole bunch of us were leaving. Him and the rest were coming in. And he comes, like, running out, and he's got, like, a big bottle of iced tea. And that's why this story came up, is because he had an iced tea. And he's like, I've got iced tea. And everybody's like, and he comes running. And he's like, Paul, I've got iced tea. And I'm like,
gender.
I'm like, I know your shenanigans. Go try this on somebody else. And he's like, you're right. And he runs to the next person. I got iced tea. And the person's like, thank you so much. And
that was Scotty.
It was Scotty. And he drinks, he's like, what did you do? And it was not iced tea. It was whiskey.
So when you cross over into Canada, you can buy whiskey duty free. Yes. So I bought a big thing of whiskey. Like I was like, could it be this story? Then I was like, no, it's got to be something else. But
I told you, I was telling it like hilarious. It was Mars, and then later on I realized it was really Gender Blender.
It was Gender. So another funny story, since we're telling old stories, I want to share this one because we used to be really smart.
And by the way, Scotty was not happy because he thought he was getting iced tea. He was dying from dehydration. He'd just been running sprints in 105-degree heat. And
he was a few years older than us.
Yes, and Kilted gives him a big bottle full of whiskey, which he proceeds to try to slam, thinking it's iced tea, and almost died. It was hilarious, honestly. So funny.
So, do you remember it was between the games, because I think there was like a break halfway through the day. Remember the slip and slide?
Yes.
They had a slip and slide, and we would run so fast, we'd slide all the way off into the end, and it was like a big mud pit at the end.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? I'm sick of sliding into the mud. I'm going to jump early and then slide onto the slip and slide. No, I was drinking some of the whiskey that day. So I was running, and I jumped early, and it was like, I remember my whole chest was like all ripped up from the grass.
So it's funny, like, a lot of times when I'm talking to my kids and stuff, and like I'm like, I didn't start drinking early, and I don't drink a lot now. It's pretty rare. Like, this is probably the first drink I've had this week, like for probably a week.
It's Tuesday.
I know. I'm like, since last Tuesday, that's probably the first drink I've had. That's a lie. Thursday we went and got a cider at a local brewery because when I filled this up, I got a cider.
Yeah.
But I told him, I'm like, I didn't drink a lot. I wasn't like a big drinker, and I didn't get drunk a lot. And then I'm like, oh wait, we played Ultimate Frisbee, and we drank a lot while we were playing Ultimate Frisbee.
It's just different.
It was just different.
It's part of the game.
It was, and for those of you who don't know, even at our metabolisms, if we're dehydrated and we drink a couple pints of whiskey or beer, it hits us. Like we were not immune to that amount. Because like my girls right now, they're like, you don't like, does it even affect you? And I'm like, no, I go, part of the side effects from the energy levels I have and that you girls have, I go, is it takes a heck of a lot of alcohol to affect us. We burn through it. I go, so sipping a beer or sipping whiskey, you're never going to feel that. I go, yeah. If you want to feel it, the trick is don't eat, don't drink anything, get dehydrated, and then slam it fast. You'll feel it. You are not immune. Like you'll feel it.
No, yeah. So actually, this we're reminiscing a little bit. I want to pass out some roses right now, like Gary Vee says. So have you been invited to the MSU Ultimate group on Discord?
I'm the one who invited you.
Okay, excellent. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not on there much, but something I want to shout out. So we were laughing at Scotty. So when we first started playing Ultimate, there was kind of an MSU team.
Yes.
And Scotty was kind of in charge, and there were a few other people. But really, in my mind, it was you. It was your idea, and I was there to help. And we went to all the dorms. We put all the posters up everywhere, and got things started. Like you just get a Frisbee in people's hands. And if you look at what MSU Ultimate became, and I don't know where it's at right now. I have no idea, but I know there was a heyday for a while. I mean, that's super awesome. That was one of your ideas, and that
was us.
That was really cool.
And because going back to the normal Kilted Balls theme, because we just went out. We didn't know any better.
We're like, this is fun because I played with Slip Disc that summer, the summer of '96, and then when we came back to school, I was like, we need to find like where they're playing here on campus. Yeah. So
and we just started.
And then I think it was the next year is when we really started pushing it. So
and it was fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, because some of those guys who we brought in were the core, like what it really became. Yes. Like, you know.
And they get all of the credit, and I'm totally fine with that. Like, people be like, oh, did you used to play? And I'm like, I did. But that group, like, they get the credit for, like, rebuilding it, and I love that.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's super awesome.
As I always tell people, I don't care about the credit as long as the thing gets done. So, that was fantastic. Yeah.
Because we'd only ever really play in districts. We wouldn't get any further than that, but they
did
got
like
to
one year. One year we got past.
Oh, yeah, we played in regionals, didn't we, the 1 year?
But
still,
not
super awesome.
And in co-ed, we got throttled a lot. Sometimes we were good, but most of the time we got throttled. We were definitely always the second or third best team in Michigan. So
yeah,
big ass truck would roll us.
So yeah, that's fun.
Well, memories.
I like this reminiscing.
Yes.
So something cool happened at work, and I want to shout out to my buddy Zach. I don't think he listens, but maybe he will.
Maybe one day.
But anyways, like we were talking, and the beginning of the month was coming up, so it was Saturday. I think we were talking, and he's like, "Well, what's your goal for next month?" And my intention is to help someone every day. Like that's my intention. And yes, my goal is 10. That's like the minimum for a regular person to get like bonuses and stuff.
Sure.
So we were talking about that. And he's like, why don't you change? Because we talk about, deeper stuff sometimes. He's like, why don't you change the way you say that to I want to help one person or help one person today. Not I want to help, but my intention is to help one person today.
Nice.
Instead of to help one person each day. And I like that a lot. Like it was just like a little switch, and I thought it was really cool because I'm waking up in the morning, and that's the thought. I want to help someone today.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great thought. No, that works out super well. And has it been working? Have you been helping a person?
I did today. I helped someone today.
Yeah. Well, what about yesterday?
I didn't yesterday. Although, because we recorded, so I sold 2 in one day.
What?
Last Friday.
And you kept it a secret from our listeners and I? Did you put it on the mini?
No, it was on my Facebook, but it was a crazy day. Like people do 3, but the 2. So here's the interesting part. I wasn't stressed, and I got a lot of props, but I don't need props from anybody, but I got props from a lot of people because they're like, the way you handled that was amazing.
Nice.
So I was messaging with a customer, and she really wanted these numbers, and we couldn't really do these numbers, and so I was like, and she's like, okay, well, thanks for your time, and I said, good luck with your hunting. I wish you the best. Is just how I ended it.
Sure.
My person came in who was supposed to come in, and I was helping them, and she had bought a car, and things were kind of winding down, and I had a chance to look at my phone, and the other person said, I'm here.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, where are you at? So I'm like looking around for her, and I found her, and I was like, well, give me just a couple of minutes. I wasn't really expecting you. Let me finish up with them. And so she was wanting a really low price. So, and they teach us, like, as long as they offer something, it gives us somewhere to start. So we present the numbers, and if they say, oh, well, no, I'm not really sure. Well, what would make you feel comfortable? Write that down and sign it. So it's kind of a commitment from them. So I take that back. So there was a lot going, and they were not really supposed to sell through the phone, and a lot of and through my threads. I was like, well, just come in, we'll take care of you. We can figure this out. I don't know if you have a trade, all these things, but it was like, come in, because then, I can get all the information and I'm not texting.
Right. So
what had happened was the one of the managers says, okay, I can do this. If she trades her vehicle, I can do this deal at this price. So I was like, okay, cool. So, when she was there, and he had said that a little bit earlier, and she was there, and the other price without the trade is what, we kind of came to. So we were at that, and she's just like, my husband says, like, we can't do that. Can I just get $500 more off? Can it be this price? And I was like, I doubt it. I don't know, but I'll go ask. Like, all I can do is ask, because I'm there. Like, I'm almost like, I look at myself as a servant between the customer and the management.
Yes.
So I go, and one of the managers, so Zach said that he dropped F-bombs at me. I might have zoned out. I don't honestly, I don't remember, because he asked me. I was like, he did? Like, I know that he got upset, and he got down and was like looking at me close, but it just didn't, it wasn't anything. Right. And so, he was like, oh, the other manager said this. And I said, the other manager said, if she trades, she has to finance with us. He didn't say to get this price, she has to finance with us, because there are things said there that we don't say to the customers.
Right.
And I said, I didn't know that was a thing I'm supposed to say to the customers. Like, if she comes in with her trade, then I cross that bridge.
Right.
She wasn't sure if she was going to trade. I told her we could do this for her trade. She's like, okay, I can get more over here, and which is fine. Who knows? But anyway, so I guess he got really upset with me, and I was just like, whatever. And then the other customer was back there. So I'm like, I was kind of juggling for, maybe 20, 30 minutes. Sure. So then I go back out, and they had 2 little kids, and the kids were starving, and the husband was hangry. He wanted to leave. So I was like, listen, you guys fill out the credit app, because we agreed, okay, they'll finance through us, because I told them, okay, well, can you at least give us a chance? Because we were losing money on the vehicle, but the bank pays us, so sure, we can make money. Anyway, so they're like, hey, we'll just go to McDonald's. I'm like, okay, sweet. Go to McDonald's, fill out the credit app online. I'm going to send your car to get cleaned up. When your car's cleaned up, come on back by. I walk back in. The same manager who I guess got mad at me earlier, he's like, what did you do? And I was like, oh, I told them to go get some food while I'm taking care of their car. And he's like, you're never going to see them again. And I was like, you can believe that. I said, but you are no part of these conversations. You don't know how I interact with people. I told them to go to McDonald's. They're going to go eat dinner and then come back.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to be shocked if they come back, blah, blah, blah. So it was just funny. And a couple people were just like, I can't believe how cool you were with multiple customers. Yeah, management was getting upset with you. Because I was like, if it's not a deal, tell me it's not a deal. Tell me we can't do it. I'll go say we can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal. Don't get upset with me because the customer is asking a question.
Right.
So it was just, but I was just being me. I was handling the situation and I was doing it. But people were like, oh my gosh. Even Zach was like, I probably would have lost one of those deals. He's like, I would have gotten blown out of the water if I got yelled at. And I was just like, well, I didn't realize I got yelled at. I know he like might have raised his voice a little bit, but I was just like I didn't realize I got swore at or anything. So it was just really. But yes, I got 2 deals that day. It was super awesome.
Did that manager like eat crow? Oh, I guess I was wrong.
He did. When they came out, of course, I walked in with a shit-eating grin. I walked back in like, okay, here's their stuff. They're ready to go. You say he admitted being wrong. He admitted being wrong.
Yeah, as he should. But I can't believe they swore at you at a Jesus dealer.
No, not everyone's Jesus, I guess.
So they're hiring people who aren't Jesus.
Yep, they let us in.
Oh my gosh, so funny. So that's an amazing story. Nice job. And it shows like being calm, believing in yourself, going after it. Like you just want true to yourself. You don't let all the fluster mess, right?
Yeah. And it's not instant. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even I told Zach, I was like, Zach, when I was your age, I was obviously completely different. And it doesn't have to be an age thing. It's experience too, because he has a ton of experience in the auto industry. But I have a ton of experience with people being idiots. And it's not always, but, there are people who say and do dumb things, and you can't get upset.
No.
I'm sure you get that, even with, you probably not as much where you teach, but I'm sure you've had instances where, you had to like kind of take a deep breath and not murder a child or a person or a parent.
Normally the kids are pretty good.
Coaching.
Coaching. Like I'm sure like people tell me all the time that I'm so much calmer than I used to be. And I'm like, man, I thought I was calm back then. And the kids will be like, yeah, we heard you were like a lot less calm back then. I'm like, I was calm back then. They're like, we heard you weren't. I'm like, that's because you're comparing it just to these like 20 years. I'm like, I'm comparing it to 50 years.
Yeah.
I would have killed that person in high school. Like it wouldn't have even crossed my mind that was a wrong thing to do. Like I'd have been like, oh, well, your life's forfeit. That's sad. Like, they're like, what? And I'm like, it was a different time for me. Like, that's how things roll.
Yep. So.
I had something today. And while you were telling your story, I was like, oh, that goes with it. And and now I forgot it. And I remembered it like at the beginning of the episode. I was like, oh, yeah, I got to point that out. That's good stuff. Good stuff. That's the word.
You always have good stuff.
I do. And now I
man alive.
Like I was mowing the yard. And I was like, I got to remember to talk about this today.
So the boys and I started opening up some of our RV friends. Our RV friends cards. And we each kept one that resonated with us the best. So I have a daring dragonfly at my desk that I look at.
That is amazing.
So it's not super special, but daring dragonfly is special to me. I have that tattoo. So yeah, it's fun.
That's amazing.
I forget what Oliver picked. Compassionate Cow. And I forget what more you picked. I think Angel. Well, I don't remember all of them.
See you guys soon. Cal's super excited to see Morgie and that other kid.
I told Gina the story. She's like, don't say that to Ali.
He's super happy to see you. Kid. He was talking about Oliver yesterday. I forget what he was saying, but he was talking about Oliver.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super, super excited. I put it actually my time off today. We booked our flights last night.
I thought you were driving.
Flights. Oliver and I are driving. Gina and Morgan are flying.
Yeah. When you said our flights, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. So here's a fun story. If you think of your thing, interrupt me.
I will interrupt.
Because this is just a funny story last night. So I'm booking on Delta. Put everything in, blah, blah, blah. And it's spinning, and then it just goes back to the page, and it says error.
Oh.
So I was like, I looked at my email just to make sure, nothing. Did it again, did the same exact thing. I was like, are you kidding me? So I'm like, maybe I'll do it on Priceline. So I go to book it on Priceline. Like maybe there's just something with the Delta site, whatever. And then all of a sudden I get emails that I have 4 flights booked for 2 people on one flight. So I got a hold of customer service right away. I mean, everything was fine, but I was just like, Delta, you're a big company. Your website shouldn't be just kicking people back. It should like have a confirmation page, like you booked your flight.
Yes.
Like congratulations, something. Even just get ready. It just went back to the main front page. That was it, and like a little error. I was like,
well,
what's going on?
They're making money off of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, they canceled it no problem, thankfully. Because on when I tried to do it on Priceline, because all the previous 4 seats were gone, and there was only like seats that weren't next to each other. So Morgan and Gina have to sit next to each other. So I was just like, I'm going to have to try this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the emails beeped. So delayed plan. Well played, Delta.
They almost got you.
Mm-hmm. But they're coming into Lansing, so that'll be easy.
Oh, that's like super easy. Right down the road. It'll be nice.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be good. I can't remember what I was saying, but it was something super good. And I think it actually had to do with your story. And I wish I could remember. I even thought, I'm like, I should write this down before I forget. I did see a quote today that I was like, oh, I've got to share that with Kilted. I've heard things like it, but not that one before. And it is, I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was.
Is that Muhammad Ali?
That is Muhammad Ali.
That's awesome.
He
I love that.
has that one quote that everybody knows. He was like, I said that before I knew, and I was like, that's so important. Like, I used to tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm the best. And one of my good friends is retiring this week, and he will always tell people that I am the most, what does he say? Now I forgot it. But he's like, he is easily the most arrogant, cocky person you'll meet. And people are like, really? And he goes, who thinks he needs to improve more than any other person? He's like, it's a pretty big dichotomy. Like, he truly believes he is the best. He also believes he needs to work really hard to be even better all the time. So what's
he gonna do? I know what the friend you're talking about. Is he just gonna live his best life on his retirement?
Like, he's having like a whole bunch of grandkids and stuff, and so he just wants to like do that. Like, he's not tired of the gig or ready to be done. He's just like, you know what? I was like, I want to be with the grandkids. I'm just gonna be done. And I'm like
that's awesome.
You go. I'm like, you need to set like lunch dates with me. I go, because here's the deal. I go, the way the world works is if you don't put it in your calendar and I don't put it in mine, I will never see you again.
Yeah.
I go, so I enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy talking with you. He's like, I don't want that to happen. I go, then you have to put it in your calendar. I go, I have to put it in mine. I go, because we just won't ever. I just won't. I won't call you up.
Yeah.
I just won't. So I am not good. I always was jealous. Kilted was so good about like getting hold of people. I am not. Oh my gosh! Look at that girl behind you. I don't. Think
yeah.
I don't think she had pants
through?
on. I don't think she had any pants on.
I'll have to rewind it and watch it.
You gotta rewind and watch it. I'm gonna rewind it. See what's up there.
She usually peeks in and asks.
All the listeners are rewinding right now.
All the listeners are rewinding.
They're like rewinding. What's Paul talking about? Rewind. I don't see anything.
We'll be able to put a blur there.
Oh, what was that blur? I'll blur it out with my own drawing.
Oh, there you go. No, I think they're just shorty shorts.
Sure. Now you're wondering. You're like, do I need to go check?
I need to go look. Like, I can let you know for sure.
Is there someone wearing no pants back there? Now you're all worried about it. I was thinking that something, my thought had to do with like people, like wondering why you and I are the way we are with some things. And I was like, yeah, like the reason why is that, and I can't remember like what it was, and I'm super disappointed because like I've thought it a couple times recently, and I thought it again today, and I was like, well, that's Like, that is the trick. Like, you don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
it is that way because we're that way. So,
like, that's how it works.
That's how it works. So, and I don't even remember what it is, but I know that's the way. Right? It's the way it is because it's the way it is. So, sorry, listeners. You're going to have to live in suspense until 5 minutes after we're done recording when I'm going to remember what the heck it was. And then be like, duh!
Then you can do it. Then you can do a short.
I almost did a short when I thought of it originally. I should have just done a short.
That was time then. That was definitely time.
Dang it.
I know. I meant to do a short today, but I didn't.
Oh, man. I thought that was part of your, like, thing.
It is. But I've tried to stop doing shorts that are exactly the same on my page and the Kilted Boss page. I try to like expand or redo it because I was doing both. Not that there's tons of overlap, but I was just like, that's not fair for people who are Kilted Balls listeners.
Yeah.
And fans of mine.
Right.
So
to kind of keep it a little different. And the thing that I was thinking of, I think had to do with like how little we think of like others when we're doing stuff.
Like others' opinions?
Yeah, like we just do stuff.
Well,
because I was thinking about like all these things that like people worry about, I think is what I had to do. Like, you know, should I do this? Should I be the boss of this? Or should I do this? And I'm like, we never, like that never like occurs to us that that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's never...
Because we're busy doing the thing. Like whatever it is. Well, even Gina asked me the other day, she's like, oh, would you consider, would you consider finance or going into management? I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm having a great time. I guess if like finance doesn't sound exciting to me.
Right.
But I guess it's a stepping stone and the managers and general managers, they get paid really well.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, maybe like if somebody taps me or wants me to do something, I'll consider it. But I'm like,
well, and I think it has to do with that arrogance I was talking about. I think that's probably why I was talking about it. Like people think I'm arrogant because I'm like, well, clearly I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Just because I'm like, why couldn't, like, I don't understand why I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, I don't have those like self-doubts. And I'm like, you just believe that you're going to do the thing. And I think people like wonder like, how do we do that? And I'm like, it's not we don't do that. We just do whatever it is we're going to do. And then if you work hard at that thing, you're going to be good at that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I sit next to a new guy now. Well, he's not new, but a different guy. And I try to give a lot of pointers because he's a younger guy and he wants a lot for himself. He wants a lot for his family. He's not very polished. And so, you know, I try to throw hints at him and I try to say things and like, hey, you know, because I'm like, listen, like you can always grow. You're a salesperson. Like picking sales, being a sales guy or girl, like the sky's the limit. Like it's you're getting paid on what you're doing. Like you can get better at anything. If you don't think you're good enough in something, like do it. And I wonder, like especially like when she asked, like I wonder if I was in a position higher up with somebody, would people listen? Or like take my suggestions, and that's one thing I don't know. I like to think that people look up to me. He said that. He's like, I know you're new. He's like, I look up to you. I watch some of the things you do, and I was like, good. I was like, I do things, and that if somebody wants to do them, like I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So like, is he new at the dealership?
He's been there over 5 years.
So he's just new at your desk.
I switched desks.
Oh. So why is he not polished? 5 years seems like you should do a lot of polishing in 5 years.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's in different places on their journey. Right? Different spots on their journey all the time.
Yeah.
That is the reels, listeners. That's the reels.
Yep.
I have to remind myself that often. They're just in a different spot. Right. 'Cause I tell people all the time I'm not judgy, but oh man, I'm judgy. I told some kiddos today, I'm like, listen, I'm not judging you. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, it's a total lie. It's literally the gig. I'm completely judging you. That's like what I'm doing.
What I get paid to do.
I get
well,
paid.
Gary Vee said, I like how he said it. He's like, I'm not going to judge you, but I'm not going to try to change you either.
Yeah.
Like it's you. Like if you're not like if you think you're being judged, then you're probably not doing something right. And actually, he and I had this conversation today. He's like, "Oh, do you ever feel like because we were talking about good and evil, and because we ran across to McDonald's to get lunch, and so we ran back, and he's like, well, as long as you get hit and die on paramount grounds, you go straight to heaven." I was like, oh, well, that's good.
Good to know.
So we were talking about, and then he was talking about good and bad, and I was like, well, bad's really subjective. He's like, well, don't you ever do stuff and you just feel like inside that it wasn't the right thing? And I said, no, I don't. Like I said when I was younger, I had a lot of friends and close people to me that were Catholic, and I do not believe in guilt. Like that Catholic guilt is crap. I said anything I do, like, no, I don't feel bad about it.
I had a friend once.
Any of my actions.
I had a friend once, and in retrospect, I may have misunderstood this, which is a common flaw of mine. Like, for those of you who haven't spent a lot of time with Paul, he's very literal. And so, like, sometimes I don't get it. But I was with this teacher friend, and I think we'd gone, like, Christmas shopping for our spouses or something, right back when malls were still a thing or whatever. And we're, like, chit-chatting, and, like, the concept of, like, cheating came up or something. And they're like, how would you, like, handle this or, like, whatever? And I'm like, well... They're like, wouldn't you feel bad? And I'm like, if I like cheated on my spouse? And they're like, yeah, like, wouldn't you feel super bad and guilty? Like, they're like, if you cheated with me, would you feel super bad and guilty about that? I'm like, no. And they're like, you wouldn't? And I'm like, no, because if I cheated on my girl with you, that means I had already rationalized out why it was the right thing to do. So I wouldn't feel guilty because I would have already made the determination that it was the correct option. And they're like, how would you have rationalized that? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm telling you that if I didn't rationalize it, I wouldn't cheat. Like, it wouldn't make it, like, that's not how my brain works. And they're like, well, try to, like, imagine, like, what would you, like, how would you rationalize that? And I'm like, I can't, because that would be weird. Like, I can't, like, even think of why that would be the case, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. Why would I do that?
But if I did do it, like you asked, if I did, would I feel guilty? And I wouldn't feel guilty because I would have already rationalized the behavior. Like, I wouldn't do the behavior without the, like, people think I'm very, very impulsive, but you've been around. Most of the things I do are not impulsive. They're well thought out. They appear impulsive because it's not something normal humans do.
Yeah.
Like, normal humans don't run down a mountain or try to run up a mountain, right? But
yeah,
I do the risk analysis before I do it and have determined that it's okay. So, but that person did divorce their husband because they were cheating on them with somebody else, who they then married and had kids with, and everything's great. Like, all's well that ends well. But, like, now I'm like, oh, she was trying to justify her cheating, and she felt guilty and bad. And I'm just like...
And it's a thing. It's a thing. There's a lot of people with a lot of guilt running around.
There is.
And they continue to do things that they don't think is good. They do bad things. It's just weird to me.
It is. Yeah. Well, and people have told me before, they're like, I'm trying to think of something where they're like, do you think that's bad? And I'm like, no. And they're like, how do you not think it's bad? And I'm like, because I'm doing it. Like, if I thought it was bad, I wouldn't do the thing. And they're like, well, people think that's bad. And this gets back to what we were talking about before. just because other people think something's bad doesn't mean I think it's bad. That's the joy of being individuals. You can think however you want to think.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, yeah.
You think how you want to think. And like that, just because I'm different than you doesn't mean what my choices are bad. They're just different than yours.
Yeah.
So
it's like this is super extreme, but the thou shalt not murder unless someone's in my house attacking my family.
Then all of a sudden it's like fair game.
I wouldn't think twice. Yeah. Like, no, I mean, I might feel bad like for a second if something that extreme happened because someone was made wrong choices and lost their life, but my family is much more important than a stranger.
I remember having huge discussions with my mom because obviously I don't have everybody else's moral compass. We understand that that's an issue. And she would like be talking to me and she'd be like, killing people is bad. And I'd be like, why? And she's like, because it's the 10 Commandments. I'd be like, okay. And I'm like, so we don't go to war. And she's like, she's like, no, you're allowed to kill people in war. And I'm like, I'm like, the 10 Commandments doesn't say that.
Yeah, it doesn't say it.
If that is your reason that it says thou shalt not kill, it doesn't have any disclaimers. It doesn't have unless they're attacking my family. Unless
there's asterisks on the back of the tablet.
And that's why I said, I'm like, I don't think that had it. I go, so your reasoning has to be a different reasoning than that. And they're like, no, killing people is wrong. I'm like,
yeah.
So my dad, who was in the military, was wrong. She's like, no, that's different. I'm like, that can't be different. Wrong. Yeah. Wrong should be wrong. And I'm like, and what you're telling me is that as long as I have an excuse.
Yeah. As long as you can justify it.
As long as I can justify it, it's okay. And so now I'm like, okay, well, as long as you can justify it, it's okay. So do you have a justification? That's what matters. And that's when people are like, you're just wrong, Ball. Like, that's bad. I'm like, I don't know if that's bad. I think I just need a justification. I'm pretty sure that's what religion teaches us.
Yeah. I was going to say, thankfully for your beliefs, worst case is purgatory till you decide to ask for forgiveness.
Had that discussion yesterday with 3 deacons. Somebody was asking them, like, how long does it last? And they're like, well, like, nobody knows how long it's lasts. I'm like, and I think it was my wife. She goes, I thought that stuff happened outside of time. They're like, it does happen outside of time. And I'm like, so then it doesn't last. And they're like, well, no, it lasts like as long as it takes. I'm like, except there's no time. So it can't last a certain amount of time because there is no time. So that means either it doesn't last or it lasts forever. But it can't last
it could
forever.
Be an illusion. It could be illusion of time, like our reality right now.
And they said, yeah, some people think that it's right now. And I'm like, my mom used to say it might be right now. And I'm like, so right now, all the pain and suffering I'm causing all of you people is me helping you through purgatory.
Yeah, there you go.
Which means it's justified. I'm doing the Lord's work.
By going to Vegas with the guys. Do you remember that bit?
No. But it's true. As it should be. Man, some deep stuff at the end.
Yeah, what an awesome episode.
Well, people, speaking of it being an awesome episode, we are past our time limit. And we appreciate you joining us.
We're having too much fun.
I know. I hope you liked our stories from the beginning and our rambling about moral theology. I'm sure we'll talk about moral theology more. We probably should have a moral theologian on here sometime to tell me why I'm bad.
That'd be interesting. And I tell, not a lot, but I do tell your other, I thought you were going to bring it up today, the other story that you talk about with your mom where she gets upset with you about certain people burning. In that, like, how long are you going to have to burn before you ask for forgiveness?
Yeah, I'm like, that's like the dumbest thing ever. Like, there's a lot of inconsistencies.
We won't bring it up now. We won't bring it up now.
We'll bring that up sometime. There's a lot of inconsistencies with people's religions in general. So, but most of it is all rectified if you believe that we're all just part of a greater consciousness, and that's God, or your deity, or whatever you believe. Almost every issue we have with religion gets resolved if that becomes your belief system. As an FYI. So,
I agree.
Which makes me think that's probably the way. Like if everything gets resolved in a neat package, that's probably the thing. So
makes sense.
It makes sense to me. All right, listeners, we appreciate it. We appreciate you. We love all of you. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilted Dragon Jerry, love you all.